episode of Kelsey's Garage. We're going to be flatbed swapping my Ford Ranger. The flatbed we're putting on it is going to be coming off of a Toyota pickup. It's been sitting in the weeds for about 10 years. We're going to ratchet strap it to the top of this box bed because I haven't taken it off yet or have a trailer. Chris and I have almost arrived to the location of this flatbed. We made it to the flatbed. We do not have a way to load it, so we're gonna have to try and load it with just our hands. For being free, it looks pretty good. We got Travis here. We're gonna hook onto it with the Ranger and break it loose from the ground and then try and kind of pick one end of it up and slide it on the truck. Try and pick it up, Travis. I think two guys can do that. We got it tied onto the corner. We're gonna try and spin it 90 degrees. This time we're gonna have the hubs locked in. Should work a lot better. And we're gonna try and pick the front of the bed up, the flatbed, and kind of just, you know, I got the flatbed picked up. We've got it wedged up with a pallet. Next, I'm gonna back up, slide it on. A little dark, but we got it loaded up. Wish it could come forward a little bit further, but we're limited because of these mud flaps, but we got it loaded. Let's get it strapped down. All right, it's about dark now, but we got it all strapped down. Looks pretty sketchy, but if it gets us home, it gets us home. Hit it. Need a bigger purse? I made it to the car wash. We're gonna wash the bed up and wash underneath the truck so we don't get dirt in our eyes when we take the bed off. Work on getting this flatbed unloaded. We're gonna run a chain to the rafter of the shop and have a cherry picker. We'll just chain it to the back of it. Make room for the cherry picker to fit behind the bed. You have to move my truck. We've got the bed all chained up and we're ready to lift it off with the cherry picker. A few more clicks to clear the bed. That should do it. Maybe wondering why I'm flatbed swapping this thing. If you could tell, there's a slight dent. You have to look really closely. It's like right in there. It's kind of hard to see. I don't know what happened here. Wasn't for me. This is how I got it. Looks like rust was here. That's interesting. Bed rail's all smashed in. The bed side is all smashed in. Someone shot it. So yeah, it's pretty much junk. The only good thing about it is the tail lights. So we're gonna go ahead and get this thing taken off. Starting at bed removal by taking off the filler neck. It's just 3 bolts. Next are 6 T55 bolts. We're gonna use this air impact to take them out. 6 bolts are out. Next is unhooking the tail lights and license plate lights. Travis and I got this bed ready to remove. Let's do that next. I think that'll work. Next, we're gonna go ahead and fix this sending unit here. Gas gauge doesn't work and I run out of gas too many times, so while the bed's off, it's time to fix it. All right, so I got the fuel pump out, and right now I'm testing the sending unit using a 12-volt multimeter. I am testing if the sending unit changes in voltage as I move this arm up. So I'm gonna touch the prongs to the signals on this sending unit, and if you go ahead and move the arm, you'll see that the multimeter changes in voltage. So it appears that the sending unit is working correctly, which means I have a problem elsewhere in the fuel gauge system. So it is what it is. Glad this works, so you don't have to buy a new fuel pump. All right, so now that the sending unit checks out, next we're just gonna go ahead and take this bumper off. I think I might end up just cutting it off because it's already rusted out. It's not totally junk, but I don't really care enough to go through the trouble of selling it. For this flatbed to clear the fuel pump, we're gonna have to notch this cross member out of it. No big deal, so we'll just torch it out. So. Hold on, I see something. Here's a flatbed. We got it set on the frame. It's just mocked up right now. We're gonna have to notch the shock mount. I think I'm just gonna cut the cross member out of the bed. Be the easiest thing to do. It's gonna need some diamond plate or some kind of skirt to cover this mess up here. Looks pretty bad, in my opinion. All right, so that's gonna wrap it on day 1 of this project. I'm tired, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. I made plenty of progress on it today, so it's a good stopping point. All right, so it's another day of working on the Ranger. I've started the day off with torching the cross member out, just like so. I'm not very good at the torch, so don't judge me too hard, but I can cut something, so. Got the flatbed to set up nice and close to the cab. Before it was about a 2-inch gap between the headache rack and the window. Looks like my torching worked good enough. I believe that the filler neck is gonna mount right up to this little holder. It's a little bit short, so I'm going to loosen this hose clamp, try to slide this tube out a little bit, clamp it back down. Should give us about 2 more inches. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and pressure wash the frame so I can paint it. I'm just gonna do rattle can special. looks pretty decent. A lot of surface rust, but a lot of it'll come right off with the wire wheel, which I'm not even gonna wire wheel it because I don't really care about it. At a later date, I would like to come back and add a couple leaves to the back of this. Should give it some rake. I'm afraid it might squat a little bit with the flatbed on it. I haven't decided if I want to add springs or just add 1-inch blocks. I'm gonna let the truck sit outside in the sun and dry for a couple hours. I'll get back to you guys when it's dry. All right, so I got the bed on and in place where I want it. I got some pretty heavy duty angle iron here. I'm gonna mark it, drill it, also mark where to cut it. Then I'm gonna weld it to the frame. I've got both bed mounts tacked onto the frame. There's that one. I'm gonna go ahead and finish weld them. The next step will be paint the frame and maybe even the bed. The brackets are welded on. Let's get to painting. For the frame, I'm gonna use a turbo can. I've never actually used one of these before. It'll be interesting to see how it turns out. If it looks good on the frame, I'll go ahead and paint the flatbed with the turbo can. I have a couple of them, so I should have enough paint. Here it is, all painted up. Turbo can's a lot more flat than I would like it to use on the flatbed. I think I'd rather have a gloss on the flatbed. It took about 1.5 cans or maybe a little bit more than that, but turned out okay. Just a quick and dirty paint job, nothing special. It doesn't even look great, but it's better than having a nasty, rusty frame. All right, so I got the flatbed on and all bolted down. Next is gonna be tightening up the fuel filler. Here's the fuel filler all hooked up. Just a hose clamp around this piece of bent strap. Pretty simple. I hope it takes fuel because it's kind of pinched right there. And I know flatbeds are notorious for not taking fuel very well. If it doesn't take fuel very good, I'll take a torch and I'll notch an arch in the bed cross member. Now that the bed is all done, fuel filler's hooked up, I'm going to try and tackle these tail lights. I'm not gonna worry about a license plate light for right now. I'm just gonna worry about these two. Later on, I'll put a third brake light up there, but that's for another day. I just wanna get it somewhat road legal. Got the bed as clean as I can get it with the pressure washer. Before I go ahead and paint it, I'm gonna cut off this bracket here in the original bumper bracket, as well as heat up this mud flap. As you can tell, it's pretty bent. The other side was really bad. I already had and bent that back off camera. Still not perfect, but it is what it is. Good enough for who it's for. I'm gonna use this little aluminum piece to cover up the big gap here. In order to do that, gotta cut about 1/2 inch off of it. I got the bed painted. It's not perfect. I wasn't really aiming for it to be perfect, but I ran out of paint, so I'm gonna have to go get some more paint before I can finish this up. It turned out okay. It might have some tiger stripes in it, but I'll do another coat or two on it. But overall, turned out pretty good. I used 3 cans of paint. I think one more can will make this look a lot nicer. Now that the bed's painted, got this aluminum piece. I got it taped up. I'm gonna drill some 4.5 inch holes in this panel. In order for this panel and the lights to be able to butt up against this cross member, I'm gonna have to cut about 2 foot out of it. Then I'll just screw the panel to the end of the cross member. Should work just fine. All right, so here's the Ranger flatbed. I got all the lights mounted up. They're all wired up. I think it turned out pretty good. I like all the lights except these tail lights. I'm not sure how I like the outside ones. I think it looks kind of like a bug, especially if you look at it from a distance. I need to mount up the marker lights on the outside. I might put some chicken lights on the side of the bed. I don't know, I think it looks kind of cool. And it's a Ford Ranger, so of course it has to have that. I might put a CB in it. I already have the CB and the antenna. All I need is a coax. I mounted up some IH mud flaps. I think it looks pretty good. I'm not gonna keep that IH license plate right there. I'm gonna actually put an actual vehicle tag on it. I mentioned, still need to put the outside light on it. I've got these work lights on the back of it. I just have them wired up on the reverse circuit for now. I wanna splice them into the knob on the dash so I can just twist it and they come on. I think it'll be good work lights. I'm eventually gonna put some actual reverse lights on the back of it, but that'll be at a later date. As you can tell, we've got the bed kind of scratched up already. I've actually been hauling some stuff on it, which it works pretty good for that. I think I'm eventually gonna redo the receiver hitch. I'm not sure how much I like it. It needs to be tucked up in the frame better and make it a 2-inch. Here's a better look at the box bed we took off. As you can tell, it was really bad. I think it was turned over at one point because the fender flare's all scraped up and it's completely crushed in. Someone shot it. Tailgate's pretty mangled up. Still worked. This side, completely dented in. I actually did that when I strapped the flatbed down to it because I didn't really care about it. Bedside's pushed in. So it's all pretty bad. I like I said, I didn't really care about it, so I was pretty hard on it. I think this bed would be pretty fun to ride in whenever it snows, pull it around as a sled. I'm gonna put some sideboards on it. I already have some treated 2x6 lumber and some 2x4s, so I may as well put them on it since I've got them. I'm gonna go ahead and get started on these sideboards. It'd be a good afternoon project and shouldn't take too long. on. These will not quite fit down in the stake pocket. I need to have them planed down about a 1/16 of an inch. Once I get that done, I can go ahead and finish these up. But I think it turned out pretty good for what it was. Can't complain for a free flatbed. I think that's gonna wrap it for this video. I appreciate you guys watching it. If you liked it, let me know in the comments. But thanks for watching.